know I addressed it last night, and I know that University issued their statement, but obviously super disappointed in the ruling for Charles. Regardless of the ruling, we're going to continue to support him any way we possibly can here. And then with the team, we've got to move forward. We played 18 games before he got here. Have some real quality wins without him. I think there's 4 current teams ranked in the top 25 that we beat without him. We had some good wins with him as well. But, sad situation for him, disappointing situation. But we've got to move forward and continuing to help him however we can and continuing to win games without him on the floor. So I don't really have anything more to add there. But as far as the Ole Miss game goes, they've got an odd situation where they've played 4 straight road games because of the weather at their place, having to flop their Vanderbilt game. So now they're starting a homestand where they're going to get a bulk of their last 8 games at home. They've obviously lost all 4 of those road games, but they've got some talent. They've got a coach that's coached the national championship game before, that's done real good things since he's been at Ole Miss. They're going to be a much better team, I think, than even what we've probably seen these last 4 games. And really their last game against Texas, they're down 18 in the first half, put a little bit different lineup out there in the second half and came back and had a lead. And, really they gave the lead up in the last 2 minutes, but they had a lead. So the group that they played and seemed to find a rhythm with in the second half looked like a lot different team than what they had been looking like for probably those 3.5 games before that. So we've got to be ready to go. And kind of the last group, I told our team that had a lot of talent that just kind of needed to get it together, was Texas, and then we allowed them to get it together and beat us at home. And we've got to learn from our previous games and learn from your mistakes, if you will, and we got to be much better prepared for a different team than maybe what these guys think Ole Miss is like based on their last 4 or 5 games. I think we got to look at their last 20 minutes of basketball, and it looks like they're starting to figure it out. Now they've also had, a few days to practice and kind of, I would assume, get with that group that kind of led the comeback against Texas and kind of go in with those guys. So it's a good team that beat us here last year. We've got to make sure we're ready for them. They've got a multitude of players that are playing. The kid Camerdine, played with JDA Dijon in France. It's the first tier France division. He's a pro that played a lot of years of professional basketball before he came over here. So he's good. He's been starting at the point for him. We've got to make sure we're ready. They've got a little bit older guys. They've gone in and some experience with their roster. So they've got good players, good coach, and I expect it's going to be a tough road game, and we got to be ready. As far as the injury front goes, which that's where we've had to spend a lot of our time getting healthy. I think Reitzel had the right knee injury and couldn't play the rest of that Auburn game. He's back to doing basketball activities. It was not as serious of an injury as which was great. Hopefully he can play tomorrow. He'll be a game time decision. And other than him, Taylor was coming around. Thought Taylor's looked better and better coming off that knee injury from a few games ago as well. So outside of those 2, we should have everybody available. And Taylor will be available. Charlie will be a game time decision. Hopefully Taylor looks better than what he did. I think he got a little scared there in the Auburn game. So.
Without Charles, kind of what do you need from Noah Williamson again, especially since he hasn't played the last 2 games. Just kind of getting back into the rotation is a bit.
Yeah, he's going to need to get back to playing hard, giving us great effort. Look back to what he was able to do in the Kentucky game when Big Aiden went out with the injury. He's going to have to give us those type of minutes moving forward. And, we can also go small, play Taylor at the 5. Sure, we can go small, play London at the 5 if we need to. So we've got options. It's a little bit harder with some of these teams that have real bigs, and Ole Miss definitely has, some real bigs. But we're gonna have to figure it out. Hopefully Noah can maybe had a little rest, got his body rejuvenated, and play a little more athletic. And he was pretty good in that Kentucky game, particularly after Aiden went out.
Yeah, I realize it hasn't been 24 hours yet since the Bediako ruling, but just in your mind, do you think it was worth it bringing him in for those 5 games?
100%. Like, there was an opportunity to help one of our former players out. He was within his 5-year window. He's trying to get his degree. And here's the thing too. My job as a head coach is to do the right thing by our guys, and Charles is one of our guys, and that was the right thing to do by one of our guys. Like I've said before, this is not some mercenary deal. A 23-year-old coming in for a semester from that nobody knows, renting them for a semester or something. So, he was deemed legally eligible to play. We're going to absolutely support him. And one of the ironic statements in the affidavit that Sankey put was, how much of a disadvantage it is to go be a pro and not have to focus on your college, which it's not the case. It would be nice if everybody that was commenting, writing, talking about this actually educated themselves on the reality of the situation. The reality of the situation is Charles left here with his body looking pretty good at 235. He went to the G League. You don't get the same treatment as you do. There's a reason all of the G League players are trying to come. I shouldn't say all. There's a reason there's a lot of G League players trying to come back to college. The money's a lot better. The development's a lot better. You get way better. You get a full-time dietitian, full-time strength coach. You're not traveling on commercial flights, spending all your time in airports, not being able to develop. Charles actually has lost weight since he went to the G League. His development wasn't what you would think being a pro. No, you're more of a professional, able to focus on getting your body right in college. So, he's here. He's in school. We're going to help him try to gain weight back that he's lost since he was in the G League. We're going to continue to help his basketball development and continue to help his development as a student and a student athlete. So 100% it was worth it. I'd do the same thing 100 times out of 100 for any of our guys that it made sense to do it with.
Question about Charles, and then also a question about Bristow. On Charles, as far as you know, is he going to move forward with the lawsuit even though he lost the injunction? And then on Bristow, is a redshirt potential for him, or does it look like you'll get him back?
Yeah, great questions both ways. Not sure on Charles' deal. I know he's got his team of attorneys. I'm sure they're trying to figure out what their next steps would be, and I don't know exactly what those be for him. So on Bristow's thing, yeah, that has been discussed with him. I'm not sure that's going to be a decision between him, his Cam Clark, our trainer, as to how healthy he currently is, what he's got moving forward. So I'm not sure. I don't know that he'll be available for the Ole Miss game, but that has been discussed with him. I'm not sure where that stands at this point.
You kind of highlighted it in your opening, just the games before Chuck. Are you at all concerned about maybe the 5 games he did play impacting your NCAA tournament resume?
I mean, if the 5 games that we did play impacted our resume, then all the games that we played without, and I go down the entire list of guys where we lost, would have to impact it. You think about Vanderbilt, we didn't have Aiden Sherrill, we didn't have LeBaron File in the second half. You think about Tennessee, we didn't have Aiden Holloway and Mari Allen. I mean, you go down the list of every game we've played where we didn't have guys available for the entire game or large parts of the game. I mean, we, lost to Gonzaga without Reitzel. Every loss we've had multiple guys, starters, guys in the rotation not play. So if you're going to consider those 5 games with Charles, then you also have to consider the rest of them without, who hopefully we're going to have available to play in the NCAA tournament. So that's their job. Our job is to win games with who we have available every night out. We're going to do the best we can to win the games with who we have available, and we've got enough talent on this roster. Florida's the number 1 in our league right now. They basically play 7 guys. So we have more than 7 guys capable of playing. We will have guys more than good enough to win every game moving forward, and that's going to be our goal.
Yeah, just kind of how does Charles being out impact Aiden Sherrill and his minutes overall?
Yeah, I mean, Aiden's going to have to probably play more. He's going to have to stay out of foul trouble. We're going to have to do a good job making sure that his rest comes at the right times. I mean, it was hard. Collins is out for the year with the cardiac condition. Bristow, has the injuries he's had and may possibly redshirt. Taylor's had all the injuries he's had. Our front court's been thin, and Aiden's been the one mainstay, and even Aiden's missed some games. He wasn't able to play in that Vanderbilt game. So Aiden's by far and away our best front court player at the 5 spot now that Charles is out. He's going to have to play a good amount of minutes. He's going to have to be smart with his minutes, and we're going to have a plan to get him as many minutes as possible while keeping him fresh. And we're going to also have a plan for when he's not available, gets in foul trouble. God forbid an injury, whatever happens. But with coaching staff, we got to do our job, make sure we got all possibilities covered.
Coach Malik, the 23 points, 19 rebounds last year. What made him so effective in that matchup last year, and how do you plan on trying to limit him tomorrow night?
Yeah, he was good, beyond good against us. He destroyed us. He's big, strong, tough, physical inside. So you got to kind of keep a big on him, if you will. Most of the time, if you don't, you're going to have to double because he abused us inside. But then he's also able to step out, knock down threes, take you off the dribble. He got all the rebounds. So, they've got him who had all those rebounds. They also have Corey Chest, who killed us when he was at LSU with all the rebounding. So they've got multiple guys on their roster that have destroyed us on the glass. Particularly, we've got to do a great job rebounding the ball. We're aware of that. And D is a tough cover. I mean, he's one of the better post players in our league. And he's been good and for them at times. I don't know if he's had a 23-19 game for them this year, but he was great against us last year. So we definitely have to be on high alert with him and make sure we got the right matchups and the right game plan to make sure we do a lot better job this year on him.